What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's Analysis. We're going to be looking at MSTR today and looking at some other charts as well. So as we spoke about yesterday, we're sitting around 414. Let's see how today plays out. Hopefully this week we get a nice green engulfing candle and can break these levels of about 450. Ideally, bounce off of this level of support and push up higher. When you take a look here at the Fibonacci, in terms of retest, we got our retest off the 618. And we got our bounce off the 618 again. So this is looking very bullish. It looks like it's potentially going to play out the same way that this did. But of course, we need a little bit more time as this is slowly compressing and climbing its way up. Hopefully, we get that aggressive move to the upside like we've seen prior. If we were to see something similar, we could see it play out like that. Landing somewhere in June, maybe early July. But as you can see, even in this move here, we're kind of on track, maybe a little bit behind, but we'll see where this week ends up. If this week ends up, I would say at 450 or higher, we're probably right on track for a similar move like we saw in the previous leg. On Bitcoin, we're sitting at 105, 115. We got our bullish close above this level of support and resistance. Now it looks like we're getting a retest. I think we're looking very bullish as long as we don't fall underneath this wick here. If we fall underneath this wick, I think we could go much lower very quickly. So we don't want to lose this level of support here. Overall, it is looking very bullish though because of the structure. You can see a mini bull flag playing out, broke out, retested, and now potentially pushing up higher. We are getting a little bit of rejection. It is trying to look like some kind of mini double top or something like that. Hopefully not. Because as you can see, we kind of are creating a higher low here. Or I'm sorry, a lower high. So it could potentially be a double top. Hopefully not. When you take a look here on the Fibonacci, it looks pretty good as we're just getting a bounce off the 382, which is a very bullish continuation for the upside. So maybe we just get the move later in this week or going into the weekend or something like that. We'll see how things play out, of course. Here on the total market cap of crypto, you can see here that it's like a channel, but it's kind of like a rising wedge because it's kind of pinching towards each other, but it's still relatively wide. It's kind of in that weird in between. You can see the top here. I mean, it lines up exactly with like Bitcoin's chart essentially. But you can see how we keep touching the top of the channel, and at the same time we find the bottoms, and it's that same concept that we've been speaking about. And we have multiple touches along the bottom. And if you adjust it, you could probably make these touches as well. But you kind of get the concept though. So whenever we touch the bottom of this channel, we get some kind of move up. It doesn't always have to be a significant move, as you can see. We kind of stair-stepped our way up, but then we got a large move here, and of course we had large moves on these touches as well. Let's see where things land. Let's see if this takes us all the way up to the top of the channel. That would be, of course, the best case scenario, but that does not have to play out. But best case scenario would be playing all the way up here, but that would bring Bitcoin to a very, very high valuation. So it all depends on economic data and stuff like that. But when you take a look at the tops, you see it's 17, 21, still 21. So every 4 years, you hit the top of this channel, the same that we've set on Bitcoin. But if this is hit, this $10 trillion mark, that means Bitcoin's going to be hitting, 300K plus. So that's not my base case, but it's not impossible. So hopefully it does rally more than I think it will. I would be very excited to be wrong. And then 2026, it's going to show potentially that we touch a bottom. So we'll see where things go, of course, but that's just the total market cap. If ETH Bitcoin goes up, that'll definitely help drive this up, because this is all of crypto combined. And ETH is a big player, of course, as well as Bitcoin. So if you can see ETH outperform Bitcoin, then that's going to be super bullish for the altcoins, which in total will drive up the entire total market cap of crypto. And when we take a look at Tether Dominance, we are looking good. It looks like we're trying to form like a double bottom, as you can see here. And you got a lower high here, and then potentially pushing to the bottom here. Or I'm sorry, triple bottom. And then maybe we push up, or maybe we just create another lower high and then come back down here, later on down the road. But just something to consider. But currently, I do think we could see this blue line. That would be super bullish for Bitcoin, of course, because Tether Dominance is showing a rotation out of stable coins into active, moving stuff, whether it's Bitcoin or anything like that. And you can see that it's mostly been Bitcoin because the Bitcoin dominance has continuously gone up. But ideally, we would like to see Bitcoin dominance fall while altcoins are going up and Bitcoin's going down. I'm sorry. We want to see Bitcoin dominance go down while Bitcoin's price is increasing, as well as altcoins. But all that means is altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin, because when that happens, that means alt season is in full effect, and that means we're potentially getting our blow off top, like you can see here in these moments here. Once we cross this red line, or around this time where we're getting close to the red line, that we're pretty much reaching that top for Bitcoin cycle. Right now, all the way back to November 2022, it's just been better to be in Bitcoin than altcoins, because altcoins have just been bleeding back to Bitcoin consistently. And that's why the dominance continues to go up, because Bitcoin's going up and altcoins are falling, so the dominance just continues to rise. Remember, the dominance can rise and fall in both scenarios. Bitcoin dominance can increase as Bitcoin is falling, because if Bitcoin falls 10% but altcoins are falling 50%, Bitcoin dominance still goes up. So make sure you understand that. But yeah, ideally we want to see a move and some rejection off of that trend line. We want to see a move like that. That would be ideal. I mean, it kind of makes sense too, where you see these touches, we've kind of fallen off prior and had some pretty significant rallies. So I would imagine that we can fall through, but I wouldn't count out the fact that we could break through, retest, and push up higher, and then maybe fall through later. But ideally, it would be to reject from here and push all the way down to this line, get alt season going, where Bitcoin's still increasing in value, but altcoins are just outperforming as a total versus Bitcoin. We want to see that rotation of stable coins into Bitcoin and other assets like that. When you look here in terms of the Fibonacci to the downside, this is a very bullish sign, or well, it's bearish on Tether Dominance and bullish for Bitcoin. As this goes down, you see it pushes up to 382, got rejected. So that is a very, very bullish sign. Remember, the 236 is more bullish than the 382, and that's more bullish than the golden zone. So this is a very bullish sign that we got to bounce off the 382, and now we're sitting at the 236. And let's see if we can continue on down and break that level of 444. I do think if we break 444, we see this level of 438. And if we break 438, then I could see us going down to about 4.2 on the Tether Dominance, which should spark a rally for Bitcoin. And I will overlay Bitcoin for anybody who hasn't seen it. A lot of new viewers. And I appreciate everybody who's been tuning in a lot. I really appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for all the support. So as you can see, the tops land at these red dots, which is when Bitcoin, or when the Tether Dominance touches this blue line, you can see Bitcoin tops. Touches the blue line, Bitcoin tops. Touches the blue line, Bitcoin tops, and so on. You can see it happening time and time again. So that's kind of what I anticipate to happen, where dominance, the Tether dominance falls down, and then we reach our top for Bitcoin. That's going to be one of the indicators that we're going to be looking at to determine whether the top is in or not. That along with a list of other indicators. Like and subscribe if you guys enjoy content like this so I can continue to create content. Lets me know that you guys enjoy this. Share with a friend too as well. Here on the dollar, you can see on the DXY, we have a nice little downtrend established, and we've fallen underneath this level of support and resistance. And we're getting a retest now, so this is looking extremely bearish on the dollar, which is good. That's what we want to see because Bitcoin tends to rally as the dollar drops. So ideally, we want to get a break down below this 97.9 region and make it to this 95 region. That would be ideal, and that could ignite a nice little rally for Bitcoin. But as you can see, this has been acting as support and resistance for some time, so that's why we have this level drawn out. I would imagine if we make it to this 95 region that we chop, maybe get a little retest or a bounce, and then we can continue falling if things play out as we hope. But overall, things are looking bullish for Bitcoin. We are close to all-time highs, so we'll see where things go. And you can kind of see the dollar isn't always correlated to a drop. When the dollar goes up, it's not always correlated to a drop. As you can see, like sometimes it'll rally together. But the dollar overall is typically an inverse correlation, but it's not always to the T. So you can see instances where it is, but it's not. It doesn't always play out like that. And sometimes there's a minor lag, depending on the time frame you're looking at. Sometimes it takes a couple of days for it to affect Bitcoin. Sometimes it's immediate. If you're talking about like if the Fed does something in a FOMC meeting and it affects the dollar instantly, then Bitcoin will react instantly. So it all depends on what kind of situation is at hand. But yeah, that's kind of how things play out with the dollar and Bitcoin. But that leads me back to my point of being bullish on MSTR overall. And I can see us making it to that top level here and top of that channel. So like and subscribe if you guys enjoy content like this. I'll see you guys in the next one.